Hi, welcome to SFG Cards and Craft. Today I'd like to show you how I did this card. I'm calling this part 2 in a small short series that I'll be doing using these little dies, the ones from Waffle. This is showing the frames that I'm using. It's a Mama Elaphant framed tag. It's called Park Avenue. Avery Elle clouds, I just used that one little pierced cloud. It's the second time I've used it and I'm quite happy with it. This is the Gerda Steiner, I'm just Lucky Duck it's called, I'm just using the little dragonfly, and this is just using a sentiment from there. This is the Waffle Flower rock set that I think it's called Rock My World or something like that, and I actually just used those two rocks that I pointed to there. I've already done the die cutting for the grass, as you can see there, and this little bit of material that I'm holding there is actually just what I'm using to make like a veil for the bride. This is, as you can see from the front, is a bride and groom card, like a wedding card. Just sorting out the colours here. This is actually using the same colours, antique linen, rusty hinge, brushed corduroy and gathered twig, that I used on my first card with the potatoes in it. Now I did put worn lipstick out there, but I actually didn't use it on the video. I'm sorry, I forgot to put the colour on the cheeks. The two greens, that's just for the grass, which is mowed lawn for the main one, and the crushed olive just for the blades of grass. And on this one I'm actually using, because I'm going lightest to darkest, I'm actually just using one sponge for this blending of it, one blending sponge. And also on this one, because the bride is wearing a veil, I didn't actually go around the edge after they're dried before putting the eyes on, because the veil would have gotten the stain on it as well, so I just didn't do that on this card, where I did that on the first card that I did, if you wanted to have a look at that one if you haven't already seen it. Okay, just putting in the antique linen. This is just to cover the whole area. This is pretty much like for a highlighting. I didn't want to leave it stark white in the middle, thought it would just look a bit odd. Okay, so that's just doing both of them. Sorry for it being a little bit off screen. For some reason I think my camera might have moved from when I last used it, and I just keep on going off the top of the screen all the time. The second colour is rusty hinge, just putting that to about halfway in, pretty much roughly. As I said, this is the same as the first video I've done. I didn't show doing the brushed corduroy or the little bit of gathered twig, just a tiny little bit around the edge. And this is bringing in the colours to do the paint in the eyes, which is the rusty hinge and then a tiny little dot of the ground espresso on top. So just a dash line pretty much, or a sort of almost a half moon shape of the rusty hinge, and then just a tiny little dot. I dry it in between so it doesn't spread too far, and just a dot of the ground espresso in the middle there, and I'm just bringing a little bit closer to show you more detail on it. So just the tiniest little spot. That one was a bit small. I actually have an idea for another one card anyway of these, with using this rock die set from Waffle Flower as potatoes. Possibly two more. I haven't really worked out how to do the fourth card yet, but definitely one more. Okay, now just bringing in the two colours for the grass here, which is the mowed lawn is the darker one of the two, and then the crushed olive. I only show, there's two pieces of grass on this one, a shorter and a longer one. This is the longer one of the two. I only show doing the one, there's no point in showing doing the two because they are both done the same, and after all everyone's seen this sort of thing done before on other people's cards, and even on, if you've only watched mine, you've seen it before on there, so it's not something that I've actually would like to show too many times, sorry. This is just doing the clouds now, using the Avery Elle pierced cloud set. I've just picked out the one This little cloud die, all it does is just pierces little tiny holes in the shape of the cloud. It doesn't go right through, it just pierces into the paper, like indents it, I guess you could say. I put 3 on. I'm only showing doing 1 here, but as I said, you don't want to see the same thing repeated over and over. The video is long enough as it is. It's like nearly 50, well, I think about 14 minutes long, so you really don't need to have it any longer. Most of mine are quite long videos, but I try to give as much detail as possible in them. They're showing the card now. I've done the 3 clouds on it, and I think I'm bringing in Salty Ocean now for the sky. Yes, Salty Ocean. I am trying to avoid getting the Salty Ocean on the cloud area, but I mean, that's to get it close enough so it doesn't look obvious. It's pretty difficult, so I do have to come in later with my water pen, and get rid of some of the blue out of the clouds before I can put in the Spectrum Noir glitter. I don't actually show doing that on screen. For some reason, when I recorded that, my camera was right off, I was right off the camera's screen, so I ended up just cutting that out, because you don't want to just see a blank table with me just moving a corner of a paper on the top. And this is actually just getting rid of the colour with the water pen, and I use just a tissue to dab it off, and then just repeat that for all 3 clouds. Bringing in the dragonfly now. This is the little dragonfly from that Gerda Steiner set, Lucky Duck. The one I used on the first potato one, I think I only put 2 or 3 on that. That was from a different set, and it was larger, and of course the third one I put on there, I didn't quite stamp the wing properly, but never mind, I do come in and fix that with a Copic Multiliner, fine multiliner pen. You'll see me in a moment do that. It's a 005, 0.005, and I just fix up that wing. The body, when I paint, I don't know if I've actually shown it, I'm doing that with brushed corduroy and a Spectrum Noir glitter pen. I just thought I'd try. I've never tried this before, and I thought I'll just try it. It does put a little bit of glitter on the bodies, but not a lot. I was sort of surprised that it didn't put as much as I thought, but it is a very small area, so maybe it's just difficult to see it. You can't actually see it in the video though, but it does work. I mean, there is a little bit of sparkle there, but as I said, I would have liked to see more. I probably could have gone over it later on with the sparkle. I mean, on the first card that I did with this potato in it, I actually put, I think I actually put the iridescent paint on the body. No, I don't remember. But anyway, this is sparkle on this one, and there is a little bit of sparkle there, but as I said, you can't see it. And I bring in the iridescent paint now, which I'm using green on this one. This is a green iridescent paint, and this as I mentioned last video, this Sonja iridescent paint is actually a true paint. It's watercolor, a water paint and an acrylic paint, not a watercolor paint. So it will dry hard in the brush if it's left to dry. So you've got to make sure you wash it out. It does wash out easily, but you just got to make sure you wash it out thoroughly. So I just go around and do all 6 of those. I don't think I show that all of it. I mean, it would be pretty long, I think, to do that, so I think I'll probably cut it shortly. And I will be showing once it's done. There we go. There's the iridescent paint on there. It looks really good. I like that for all the insect wings and things where necessary, like bees and, well, anything that's got iridescence on it. Some of the butterflies have iridescence as well. Now I'm not sure what I'm doing here at the moment. The potato. This little hat came from a stamp set called, do I have it written down? I don't think I do. No. The hat, yes I do, Lawn Fawn Snow Cool. I've actually just painted it in carbon black. It's just that it's a stamp outlined, and I painted it in carbon black, and the band I've just done it with that glitter gel pen, or gel glitter pen. As I said, there's nothing fancy, so I just stamped it and painted it off screen. I actually painted a whole lot of them, and just got them ready just to put the colour band on, so that's why I didn't show that being painted. Now the Vale, this was the most difficult part to try and work out how to do. This is the reason why there's been so long between this video and the previous video, because I've been working out in my head how to go about doing this, and I tried a couple of different ways to do it. I don't know, maybe I'm just a bit thick, who knows, and I couldn't figure out how to do it, but this is the way I ended up doing it, just by, sorry it's a little bit off screen, but what I'm actually doing is just getting the veil so that it's sort of close to the potato body, if you for want of a better word, and just wrap the ribbon around it, just cut off a small piece, and I'm just holding it on with that bulldog clip at the moment, and trying to adjust the veil so that it sort of goes right, because I want it to go out to the right hand side, so it's like a train that comes out behind, like as though it's blowing in the breeze. It's not that you can see if there's a breeze on a card, of course. And when it comes back onto screen again, sorry about that. And I've got it clipped there now together. Now this is just like a backing card that I put to, because I'm putting these up on like on a fairly high sort of a 3D tape, and you notice I cut a little piece out of there. It's because I want the veil to come out between those two, so I'm putting the glue to hold the ribbon in place, and I squirt some underneath it as well as between it, and then I bring in that first piece of card for the top that I actually cut the first piece, and then stick it on behind, and then the second piece I put the glue on it and I lift the veil up so that the veil comes out in that little slit that I've cut away between the two pieces of the backing, and you'll see it there. And the veil in the front there's a bit long, I trimmed that, and so is the train behind. They're both longer than what they should be. I trim those up later. So that's the way I've done that. Okay, now the grass, I mean, I think I've shown this, what I do here before. Just a bit of wet glue. This is the multi-matte medium glue, the Ranger, and I just dab it along there and wipe it over the blades of the grass with my finger. And I've already put down the large piece of grass, so this is just the small one. Now the bow tie, I had a little bit of trouble trying to get the bow tie very tiny as well. I just couldn't get the shape right. I tried a couple of times. This is my second attempt, and I just wanted to get a very, very tiny little black bow tie. I had to especially go out and buy this ribbon because I didn't have any small black. The smaller one I had before this was like 1/4 inch. This is like 3mm or 1/8 of an inch. I'm not sure what they call it. Maybe it's 1/8 of an inch. I'll just have a quick look. I'm right at my table here where the drawer is. It doesn't say. It just says 7 meters long. It's because it's made in Australia. It's probably 3mm, but it doesn't say that. The green one that I used around the head of the bride, that one clearly says 3mm, and it's on a 30-meter roll. And actually, fact, the 30-meter roll of the green was cheaper than the 7-meter roll of the black. So go figure. Different places I bought it from though. And just a little dab of the Ranger Multi-Matte Medium glue behind that, and try and hold it into place. I just sort of let it sit there. With by the way, I forgot to tell, with the bride putting the veil on, I had to leave that to dry for quite some time. I actually went away, and about 2 hours later I came back and it was dry. So it's not something that you can actually rush, this card. You have to sort of be patient with this one and wait for things to dry. So and now just putting on that sentiment there, I thought it would be best to have it embossed. So, and there's the panel done with the little frame on it. I thought it was quite cute. I've put the eyes, sorry, I've actually skipped a few stages here, like putting the eyes on and things like that, but it was all done off screen, as in I was sitting at the top of the screen when it was being done. Sorry about that. As I said, my camera tripod must have moved and I didn't realise it, and it's really messed it all up. But anyway, I hope you like the card, and if you do, please subscribe and click the like box, thumbs up box, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.